Hi, y'all. My name's Rex Foster, and we are all here gathered together in the music room. I've got my dog here at my feet. He's my buddy, what a friend can be. He ain't got no judgments, he sticks by me. He lives in the moment and teaches me. When a friend calls with her heart in need, I open my ears and let her bleed. And 'cause I don't know nothing about anybody else, best I can do is share myself. 'Cause we got one thing in common, you know what it is. It's what we talk about and try to live. A bag lady on the corner, holding out her hand. She says, I'm hungry. Hey, I can understand. So I take her hand and we walk down the street, find a little cafe and get something to eat. 'Cause we got one thing in common, you know what it is. It's what we talk about and try to live. I love a woman here, I love a woman over there, another one around the world, and we all care. Yeah, they like to talk, they're always on the phone. They talk about love, can't leave each other alone. 'Cause we got one thing in common, and you know what it is. It's what we talk about and try to live. Yeah, we got one thing in common, you know what it is. It's what we talk about and try to live. Yeah, we got one thing in common, and you know what it is.
Welcome, Rex. It's been a long time coming.
Well, truly. Yeah, I'm
came...
real old now.
No, we're really excited to have you in. You came to us today from Comfort, Texas, down
Yes,
the Hill
ma'am.
Country.
Yep.
How long have you been there?
Well, my folks got a place up there out of living in San Antonio when I was 10 years old. And they moved up there, about a 120-acre place with the Guadalupe River running right through the back of it.
Oh, wow. How wonderful.
So I was a blessed young man.
And you're still on that same property?
Yes. I mean, I left home and traveled the world for a long time, and then about 31 years ago, I settled down and built a house on our place. And,
yeah. How wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're so glad you're here today. Tell us about your song, One Thing in Common.
Well, it's sort of self-explanatory.
Where did you come up with, what was your influence to write that, or what moves you to write that?
The oneness of everything and the relationships that we need to have with each other. I tried to just pull enough lyric of various situations to get that feeling.
Yeah.
From.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you start writing?
I actually started my expression artistically in the theater when I was young, and I just had
In the San Antonio area?
in the Comfort area.
Comfort area.
Yeah, and then I did professional summer stock work when I was in high school, and in college I actually majored in drama and I minored in physics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had a very high spiritual experience when I was 14 years old, and so I've had this drive to want to express myself and to understand things, and so acting and being in the theater was kind of a first push at that. And then it was too much of a team sport. I mean, I didn't get to really express myself. And that's where I learned I had a voice, was in the theater. They taught me to sing musicals, like Bloody Mary was a girl, blah, 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 blah. And so then I learned how to play guitar. And once I learned 3 chords, it was all over.
That's awesome.
So you started writing pretty much immediately, rather than...
Yeah, I was reading Woody Guthrie's books, and I was learning how to play 3 chords, and I was immediately started writing.
Very cool. Well, Stop Carrying the Stone. Tell us about that song.
Stop Carrying the Stone, I wrote very quickly one day when my gals were out working this convention in Las Vegas, and I was back in the condo, and my daughter... I was thinking of my daughter at the time, but it's a general, like almost all my songs. I start with a kernel, and then I try to let that expand out into a commonality, so that as many people in the listening audience can relate on some level, But it actually started. My daughter had been having some troubles with things, and I just stopped carrying a stone,
Yeah.
It's heavy. So, and I also just like the groove.
We talked about that.
Yeah. Because I do a lot of stuff with finger picking. I developed my own style, actually, early on.
Come up on that mic just a little bit for me.
Stop carrying the stone. Don't let it pull you out of time. Don't let it block up your road. Haul it out, out to the sunshine. Darkness abounds when you hang around. So try real hard to lift your feet up, above the ground. Take the rope off of that stone, like Prometheus would do. Then fly out to the sun. Never look back, never look back at what's been done. It's about high time. You've been waiting too long. Stop beating around the bush, baby. Stop carrying the stone. Take a chisel to that stone. Chip away what you don't need, till the face is one you've known for lifetimes, eternity. It's about high time. You've been waiting too long. Stop beating around the bush, baby. Stop carrying the Darkness abounds when you hang around. So try real hard to lift your feet up. Yeah, up off the ground. It's about high time. You've been waiting too long. Stop beating around the bush, baby. Whoa, yeah. Stop carrying the stone. Stop carrying the stone. Stop carrying the stone.
I thought you were going to grab
Thanks,
your
guys.
whammy bar there for a minute.
You mentioned that you were a drama major and a physics minor.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do anything with your physics, or have you done music all your life?
To answer this, the simple end of that question is, I didn't carry on with any physics, technically, but I use it all the time. Just because physics is such it's a mathematical language to try to understand the manifest world. And when you're coming out of the idea of the non-manifest manifesting, physics becomes very interesting. So that's always been part of my spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well,
to be on a spiritual journey, you have to
music
start
is also
understanding.
mathematical, so it
Yes,
all works.
that's the
So
other thing.
Exactly, those two tie.
Right, that's what...
Music's just
Makes
1 to
sense.
12. Physics is a few more numbers than that. But
So was your career always music then?
Yes. Yeah, after I started writing songs, it was always music from then on.
Isn't that awesome to have that kind of a career?
Oh, my,
make a
what
living
a blessing.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
yeah.
and I was very blessed early on in that I got to make an album when I was relatively young. I mean, back in those days, to get a record deal and make a LP
yeah.
was
well,
a
the tape
huge
alone
deal.
cost a bunch of money just for the recording tape. So
2-inch tape.
2-inch tape, and 30 minutes of it was
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars there that you had to
Yes,
spend
right.
just to get it.
Yeah.
So
In
we
fact,
remember those days.
I recorded an album in 1974 down in the hill country with a mobile unit using 2-inch tape.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought it in and did a whole album that I'm just baking. And I just got it all digitized about a month ago off of these 2-inch tapes.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to mix it in Pro Tools.
Cool.
Well,
It never
worked.
got final
Sure.
mixed.
Why not?
It was complete album, but we
I
never
hear a
finished
CD release party in somebody's future.
it. Or an LP release party.
Yeah.
We're going to do a vinyl.
Oh, good.
It was going to be a vinyl.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
We had Junior Boy Jones play with Freddie King. He brought us a vinyl album last time he was here. He's releasing things. His record company's releasing.
Well, vinyl's
vinyl too.
coming back,
Vinyl sold more worldwide last year than CDs did.
Yeah, my
First
buddy
time
Peter
in
Rowan
many
was
years.
up in New Jersey the other day, and I was talking to him on the phone. He was actually in a CD shop, and he was walking around looking in CD stores, and he said, "You know what? I'm seeing more LPs in the CD stores than I'm seeing CDs." And I went, "Good, because they're about to reissue my first record, my very first vinyl record. Company in Spain's going to reissue an exact replica of it, and in vinyl. It's going to be
Now, for
this
our
big."
for our listening audience, Rex, if they want to purchase your music and they want to purchase your new vinyl when it comes out, where would they find that?
Best thing to do is to go to my website and contact through the website.
And the website
Is rexfoster.com.
All right.
You can go to CD Baby to get stuff now, the CDs and hard copy CDs. A CD is an artistic endeavor, the whole thing.
It should be.
Yeah, you're buying one song out of it. That's fine if you love a song. We all always love a song on a CD, but how often do you listen to it and you love this one song and you don't pay attention to the others, and then a month later you go through and oh, that's my new favorite song,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that doesn't happen.
But you try to shoot for an album as a work of art,
Yes.
like Moondance or
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Abbey
mean,
Road.
I'm not a concept
Things like
album
that,
guy so much, but I feel that the whole thing is a piece of art by the time you finish it and press
Right.
it. You hang it on the wall because it's done.
Right.
Whereas a live performance is a whole other art form.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't mind people coming to your shows and buying CDs from you directly either, would you?
Oh, no, that's fine.
I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, tell us about
I like
that
the
one.
title already.
Okay, yeah. Now, Light at the End of the Tunnel is it's a newer song. You know, we're all family here, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. About 3 years ago, I had to go through some health stuff, and I thought when I knew this thing was happening, I didn't really tell anybody about it, and I wrote a number of songs sort of in private to express myself in where I was at with this whole thing, because I don't believe in death, and so it's a whole different approach, you know, when you're writing songs about that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So this came out of that sort of batch of songs and era. It's been three. This one is probably 2 years old, 2.5 years old. Riding high won't be my sorrow, 'cause while going home, it's the only way. Light at the end of the tunnel, babe, that's where I wanna be. Yeah, babe, where I wanna be. Life seems to hang on backwards, while time is on an unknown train. Love explodes in the moment, and waking up, the name of the game. Yeah, waking up, the name of the game. But you could chase happiness. You could run, turn away. You could load your gun, but you better step back, son, and walk in your brother's destiny. The Buddha man talks about the tree, how love was written long before the song, how truth is where all the love lives, where, baby, we can't go wrong. No, honey, we can't go wrong. But you could chase happiness. You could run, turn away. You could load your gun, but you better step back, son, and walk in your brother's destiny. So riding high, it won't be my sorrow, 'cause while going home, it's the only way. Light at the end of the tunnel, babe, that's where I wanna be. Yeah, babe, where I wanna be. Light at the end of my tunnel, babe, that's where I wanna stay.
your finger picking style on the old, or not the old, but the Martin is really beautiful. That Martin has got a wonderful out front tone. I think everybody in the room would say that is one loud guitar. It is really, it's got a lot of volume to it. Yeah. You don't hear many that have that kind of punch, especially in a jumbo body like that. So.
Thank you. This was a semi-gift from a friend of mine. I never played Martins or owned Martins. I played them, of course, for years, but I never owned one. I always played guilds. And a friend of mine found this at Gruen's in Nashville.
Yeah. And
he played every Martin in Gruen's store and couldn't leave without this guitar. And he's a Martin freak, this friend of mine. He brought it to Comfort and did some work for me on my house, and he brought out his guitars that he'd made, and he brought this guitar out, and they just left them laying around my house, and I picked this up and started playing on it, and I could not put it down.
Yeah,
I wrote like 2 songs while he was there
on
this guitar, and he never sells his Martins, and he said, "Oh, dang, I guess I'm going to have to leave this guitar behind."
What a nice friend.
Yeah. Well, I traded him a few things.
Okay.
But I came out way ahead of the deal. And I've been madly in love with this guitar ever since.
Before you do the song Be Lighthearted, I wanted to talk to you about a mutual friend, but a friend of yours for a long time, but a fairly new friend of ours in John Arnold. And that you met with him today, and tell everybody a little bit about your history with John. And just to let y'all know, John was one of the first people, if not the first, to do house concerts in Texas.
Yes.
And Rex was one of the first, he was right there with him, and one of the first people to do house concerts in Texas. So, tell us about how all that started and when and everything. Give us a little background.
Well, let's see. John and I had known each other from, probably the mid-'70s. Did a lot of partying together in San Antonio area for a period of time. But we ended up going to the Kerrville Folk Festival a lot in the early to mid-'80s. And then this concept came up at the Kerrville Folk Festival. Somebody like from the East Coast or somewhere had talked about having people come to their house and doing a concert and actually, charging money and bringing food and so forth. And so John and his wife Sherry, who are music nuts, there's neither one of them play, but they are serious music fans. So they locked onto that idea. They had a nice house in San Antonio. And they said, "Rex, what do you think?" And I went, "Well, I wouldn't mind doing that. I love playing around the campfire." And it's essentially playing around the campfire. And so let's try out something like that. And that's how that started.
Wow.
I forget exactly what year. It was late 80s because I had just finished my first CD, and that was in 89. So that's how that started, and it was one of the, if not the very first, one of the very first house concerts. And they ran it, and then they handed it over to some other people.
And the name of that series was?
It was called the Urban Campfire.
Urban Campfire, yeah. I remember hearing about that. Yeah. Well, Be Lighthearted. Tell us about that song.
For one thing, it's in another tuning.
I hope so. I hope you just weren't playing around out there.
It's in an open D. Both E strings are tuned down to D. And there's a whole story about this tuning thing that, if we wanted to really get into history, I could talk for hours about that. But I just wrote this song up in Jackson, Wyoming. We have a house up there that we get to use every summer when we go up to do some shows and stuff. And gorgeous place. And it's like a retreat for me. And I always write songs when I'm there.
Can I understand that?
Yeah. And so a woman was taking pictures of me out. It was a funny set of occurrences that wrapped around this song. The first thing that happened was, see what I'm doing here? I'm just covering 3 of these strings and then playing these chords.
It's the Munchkin capo.
Well, actually, this is a regular capo turned upside down.
Upside down,
yeah. And Rick Beresford had talked to me on the phone and said, "Hey, you got to try turning your capo upside down, doing it backwards, and see what you can make out of it, So I did it, and I didn't realize that I was in an open tuning when I did it. And so I did it, and I played this chord. And whoa, yeah. We can do that. And so she's a nighttime photographer, and she was taking pictures at night up in Jackson, out in the boonies, right, with no moon, and you can see the Milky Way. It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
The night sky up there, and this is like at 8,000 feet
Across the Tetons and all that, yeah.
So she had me standing by this old wooden fence, those cross-post fences, and she'd shine a light on me for like 10, 15 seconds, a flashlight on me, and then she had her camera open for 40 seconds or 50 seconds or something, to catch this. And so she was doing this and came up with this great picture with this Milky Way. It's just incredible. And so I was playing around with this groove up there and thinking about that sky and about the immensity of our journey and how little our problems really are. I'll be lighthearted in the middle of darkness, follow my dreams wherever they go, and I will hold on whenever I'm falling. No, I won't trip up in the middle of the night. Turn the page, turn the page. Look inside the Milky Way. A message left there from heaven. Pay attention in case. I've been running inside the wind like a dervish, spinning and spinning. I drop my head, complete exhaustion. That's when God says, hey Bubba, come on in. Turn the page, turn the page. Look in my soul. Ain't no place left to run to. Ain't no place left to go. Turn the page, turn the page. Look inside the Milky Way. A message left there from heaven. Pay attention in case. Oh, sorry. Pay attention just in case. I don't know where that new chord came from.
Hey.
I was just telling Helen just a second ago. I don't know if anybody's going to understand this or not, but
It's coming from Randy. Look
when
out.
he does the next song, close your eyes and let your voice timbre-wise and everything, sounds exactly like Bugs. Your tone sounds just like Bugs Henderson.
Really?
It sounds just like Bugs. I mean, it's.
Wow.
I'm sitting here when I'm closing my eyes and I'm going, that's just amazing.
Wow,
It's just amazing because it's got such an interesting quality to it. You know, Bugs
wow,
one of my
that's
favorite
interesting
people.
because people are always saying to me that they can't picture me. I mean, when they hear my voice, it's like very obviously mine.
Your style's totally different, but
Yeah.
But the quality, the tone of the voice. Interesting.
It's just really
And his enunciation on words and speaking. Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
yeah. The phrasing is very similar.
You know, I'm a serious when I teach people in songwriting, I am a serious enunciation. It came from my theater. I learned so much in my early life, working in the theater, about performance, about give you guys what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Don't make you stretch your ears and your mind to try to understand me.
Yeah,
That's silly.
I was a drama major too.
She still is.
Hey,
Just kidding.
that's all right.
Better than being a drama minor.
That's true. Rex, you've obviously done this for a while, played a lot of places.
Yes.
What would you say was your most memorable, all-time favorite place that you performed?
All-time favorite.
And why?
Whoa. Could I use two places?
Sure.
One of the places was, we did this caravan across the country called the Medicine Ball Caravan in 1969, right after Woodstock. And it was a documentary movie on the road. It was like taking Ken Kesey's Merry Pranksters, expanding it, adding the Grateful Dead sound system, Warner Brothers footing us $1.25 million.
I've got that vinyl of the 2 CDs.
No kidding.
I do. The Medicine
Stone
Ball.
Ground?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
I was a
You
DJ.
and I need to talk.
I was a
'cause
DJ back in those
there.
days, and I kept all the albums.
I was
so.
in that whole thing. I was a serious part of that whole formation of that thing, getting across the country and so forth.
Warner
And
Brothers released it to the DJs with all the different people that were in it, like a sampler.
Wow. I didn't even know.
We
that.
need to. We do. Well, we're going to have breakfast tomorrow morning. We'll talk about
that. We'd done these concerts across the country, and I was just a little folk singer-songwriter guy, and I was driving the reefer truck, and but they were flying in people like, I went to pick up Van Morrison at the airport to play at Antioch, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
We had B.B. King came in a helicopter into Placitas, New Mexico,
Wow.
to this concert we were thrown out in the middle of nowhere on a commune. The last one, before we took the whole thing to Europe, the last show was in Washington, D.C., in front of like the Justice Department or something, one of those big buildings with grounds in front of it. Not the one you see all the time, but this one was all grass. It was more like a park thing, grass and everything. There were probably, a couple of thousand people there. And we had Hot Tuna on that one, in Stone Ground. And I was playing. Some of the shows I'd get up and I'd play. And I was playing by myself, solo. And there's literally, we're in Washington, D.C., right? There are literally a line of riot police around these 2,000 people. I mean, almost solid. And everybody starts getting a little antsy about the police. And they start, getting drunker and crazier and stuff as the day's rolling on. And I'm up there and I can feel they're about to explode. Mm-hmm. And I got to talk them down from the stage. Wow. All these crazy hippies, that had about had enough. And I let them know. That's the one thing they want you to do is to throw one bottle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing is going to go south. So how about we win this battle?
Yeah, we don't.
With
how
peace.
About we don't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's all just smile and grin and pat them on the back. And by golly, we pulled off the whole show and nobody got hurt.
That's
it was incredible.
awesome.
Hot Tuna got out and rocked them good,
Cool.
Yeah. So that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
And then probably I did a show in Italy one time. It was just it was about 1,000-seat theater that was just magic. There was something about that show. It was just had that magic to it.
The
You know,
vibe.
Funny how
everybody
things
was
stick in
together,
your head.
and they don't speak English, most of them, very well in Italy, right? So it was really about the music, the vibration of the music.
Yeah. Music's a universal
And
thing.
I had Radislav playing squeeze box with me.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who Radislav is?
Yeah.
Radislav, it was the first day I'd met him. I got him to come up on stage with me and play the squeeze box. He's
Yeah.
incredible.
He probably wouldn't call it a squeeze box.
Well,
Like Stradivarius calling it a fiddle. Huh?
yeah, well,
Take My Ashes is another one of your songs.
Take My Ashes is my mother, when she was sick with cancer, she knew she was passing. She asked me if I would take her ashes down to the river, where this Guadalupe where I was talking about, and where my daughter had learned to swim, and we'd hung out there a lot. And so we did, and then a couple of years later I was able to write this song. And as I was writing it, Peter Rowan and I were hanging out together a lot. He kind of kicked in, so this is actually a co-write with Peter Rowan. Take my ashes to the river, where the water runs deep. Carry me out to the ocean. Let me dive in the deep blue sea. And take my ashes up on the mountain, where the eagle flies free. Let me soar into the sunrise, into the mystery. I'll be gone, I'll be gone, like the wind flying free. I'll be gone, don't cry for me. I'll be gone, but I never leave. Take my ashes to the prairie, where the sun beats down all day. Tumbleweeds roll like an ocean. Let the wind blow me away. I'll be gone, I'll be gone, like the wind flying free. I'll be gone, don't cry for me. I'll be gone, but I never leave. I'll be waiting in the garden, in the first flowers of spring, standing in the sun shower. Feel the softly falling rain. I'll be gone, I'll be gone, like the wind flying free. I'll be gone, cry for me. I'll be gone, but I never leave.
I like that. You've got a song called, and I love this title, is Think About Bob Dylan. I think every songwriter can probably identify with that title.
Yeah, it's a lot of songwriters do, and in fact, Bob does himself. There's a great story. I love this. It's a fun song. It's had a life of its own. Got a lot of airplay back in its day, But it's fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Now, when did you write this?
86, 87. Yeah, probably 87, because I recorded it in 89, and I'd had it for a couple of years probably. It was being played in San Antonio a lot on Rebel Radio down there. And Bob was coming through town, played a concert. He was listening to this radio station, and he heard that song. So he called the DJ at the radio station, a guy named Kaufman, Steve Kaufman. And he calls in and gets Kaufman on the air, and he says, "Hi, this is Bobby Dylan." And Kaufman says, "Yeah, all right." "Sure. Can I help you, whoever you are?" And Bobby says, "Yeah, I wanna go buy that record of Rex's. Where can I get it?" And so he tells him this little mom and pop somewhere, The guy that owns the mom and pop told me the story later. He said it was Sunday, knocking on the door. He just happened to be there. He opens the door, and here's Bob Dylan and his road manager standing at the front door.
Oh, wow.
And bought the record and had him record. Actually, put it on to copy it over onto a cassette, because this was back in a long time ago, and he was using Neil Young's tour bus, and it didn't have a CD player, and it only had a cassette player in it. So he bought the CD, but he had him put that song and Freedom, the song right after it, onto a cassette so they could play it in the bus while they're driving down the road.
Well, how cool is that?
And then the road manager got in touch with me later, and I stayed in touch with him. He said it was great. Dylan loved it.
Now we gotta hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. And this, Randy, this started with a groove. I was just sitting around my bus one day doing this, that's fun. I've been thinking about Bob a lot lately, Sitting around thinking about Bob Dylan, you're getting me crazy quick. You see, old Bobby, he's a genius, and around here they just call me Stick. In the old days I tried to follow, and I wrote a lot of strange lines, but my images were hollow. I hadn't found my own time. I hadn't come into my own time. Well, now he's just a couple days older than me. He learned his from the streets. Me, I was raised in the backwoods. I learned mine from the creek. And I think about Bob Dylan, and I think about old Hank Williams, and I talk to Peter Rowland every chance I get about the end. Or is it the beginning? Well, now I spent my time in the city just to get a reference point and decipher all the screaming, get a feel for the joint. And I found it was simple, yeah, and I found it was true. If I'll just get myself out of my way, then maybe I'll know what to do. Like unplug the television and unload my gun. Spend time teaching my children about the days to come. And I think about Bob Dylan, and I think about Nostradamus, and I talk to Townes Van Zandt every chance I get about the end, or is it the beginning? Well, now I love my old pal Bob Dylan, and I hear he's on the road again. I hope he stops by the house to compare notes on the end. Like, is it gonna be a hanging or just another dance? Is there really enough time left? We just gonna kick back and grin. And I think about Bob Dylan, and I think about Quetzalcoatl. I talk to Peter Yarrow every chance I get about the end, or is it the beginning? Think about Bob Dylan, and I think about John Wayne. Talk to Mom and Dad every chance I get about the end, or is it the beginning? Hey, how's it going out there, Bobby? Yeah, I know what you mean. Will you take care of yourself, son?
Cool. That's good.
Crazy song. Crazy song.
Love it, love it.
I know.
Happy of a guy?
I know this. I never really write. I write serious songs, a lot of serious songs, but not real like the blues, you know. So I was just messing around one night, and my sweetie was. I was just getting in this groove, and it's a minor chord, you know. And so anyway, I was just doing this thing, and she just started moving around. And I was thinking, well, what if she left? Whoa. So I've never written a really bluesy, dark song. I stepped outside, there was no moon. It was pitch black. Couldn't see my guitar, so I couldn't get real complicated. And most blues is not real complicated. So I wrote a blues song. This is his dark song, songs any light. His baby left him in the middle of the night. She didn't shed a tear, no, she didn't cry. A smile, a smirk as she waved him goodbye. Hey, hey. She wants to believe, but she can't even say please. It don't get much darker than when your baby leaves. You don't like yourself, you don't want to live. Hey, hey. Moon comes up, you're all alone, hiding under covers, afraid of the unknown. Hey, hey, hey. She wants to believe, but she can't even say please. Sun shines bright, but you can't see. The music's loud, but you can't hear. Hey, 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 hey. You're down in your submarine, riding the last train, on the road with your thumb out again. Hey, hey, hey. Wants to believe, but she can't even say please. Down in your submarine, riding the last train, on the road with your thumb out again. Hey, 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 hey. She wants to believe, but she can't even say please. Blues. Now that one would be good with a little Paul Piercy.
Oh yeah, Paul's, isn't he amazing?
Oh, I love Paul. Yeah, I've used Paul. Peter Rowan produced 2 records with me, co-wrote a lot with me, and we also pulled in people like Cindy Cash Dollar and Paul Piercy. Woo!
We're going to get to a couple of other tunes of yours before we get out of the show. Before we talk about those 2 songs, I really want to, you do have a vast amount of history. If you were going to talk to a young songwriter today who would come to you and say, I want to do, this is what I want to do, what advice would you give that young artist?
My advice to most all young, upcoming, young or old, if they're really starting to get into songwriting, is to write for yourself, from your own heart and from your own experiences. Don't try to write for the radio.
Thank you. Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And find your own voice that way.
Very cool.
Good advice. You're wise, Mr. Foster.
Boy, I got you fooled, didn't I?
That Extra Mile.
Oh, this is a fun song. This is a title song off of one of those CDs that Peter and I did. And I wrote this like we were in the studio. We were working at the Zone down in Austin. Great studio to work in. I literally put the finishing touches on this song in the middle of that recording period. It was a week or so that we were in there really hammering it, you know. Mm-hmm. And I came in one day with this, and I said, Peter, I got to record this song. It's brand new. I know it's against all the rules, but we're going to do it. And Paul was there, and Glenn Fukunaga was there.
Yeah, he's a great player, too.
So I had stand-up bass, and Paul was there to put the groove to it. Cause it's
you don't need much more than those 2 guys.
Exactly. That's what I told Peter. I said, Peter, just give me those 2 in an hour here, and we're done.
Absolutely.
And won't you come around tonight, little darling? Lay your sweet lips on mine. You've been hiding out in the shadows. Come and let it all shine. I gotta tell you a secret. I don't like it at all. Rolling over in the morning, waking up all alone. You're spinning by, all dimples and I go that extra mile. Here we go. Well, the story you bring around, little darling, is wrapped up in your eyes. You don't need no declaration. You don't need no alibi. For love in such measure, you gotta let it go. 'Cause one too many kisses and our cup overflow. You're spinning by, all dimples and smiles. You walk to your own time, and I go that extra mile. I go that extra mile, yeah, dear. There's that wah-wah pedal.
The next song you're going to do is, the title of it is, well, it was one of my favorite times of my life, and that's the summer of '69. Yeah. And
and he remembers.
The summer of '69, I do remember. I look back on that and realize that we just come out of the turbulent '68, the assassination of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy and all the other stuff, the Tet Offensive and everything else, and you get into '69 and it's a different year, and then you're heading into Woodstock but the moon landing and Woodstock and Charles Manson all happened in a 2-week period.
I was just pulling up instances to help remind people how intensely important that period of time was.
Yeah.
The mid to the end of the '60s.
Yeah.
And then from 1970 on, it changed.
It did change.
It changed. It flip-flopped right in '69.
You can listen to the Woodstock recordings and listen to 1 year later at the Isle of Wight, and it's a whole different timbre. The feel is different. The times are different. Mm-hmm. I agree. It's
funny you mentioned that because the Isle of Wight was our destination at the end of the Medicine Ball Caravan. We flew the whole bunch over to England, set up our camp and our teepees and our whole thing outside of Cambridge, and then went to the Isle of Wight to see Dylan and Baez.
But it had a mean spirit. When I go back and listen to that whole thing, even the announcers, and you listen to Woodstock, and it was like,
yeah, I didn't go. I didn't go to the Isle of Wight Festival. I was hanging out with Rod Stewart in an antique Bentley, getting drunk.
Before Jeff Beck,
but it was Faces. It was
the Faces. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Steve Marriott and all those.
Yeah. So this is my little. It's a little thing about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Whoops. Gone are the days of flowers hanging out of the barrels of rifles. Blacks were on the rise and hippies out of style, and students shot by surprise in the summer of '69. Down in your Texas home, outlaws came back around, Cocaine became king and the gun showed up again, and cowboys and low-flying planes. In the summer of '69, you thought you would change the world, but your ideas were left behind. In the summer of '69, peace and love lost their meaning. Hendrix snuffed out in England, Woodstock by the wayside, and Dylan's crazy mind. Even the Beatles had their white lies. In the summer of '69, you thought you would change the world, but your ideas were left behind. In the summer of '69, you thought you would change the world. Yeah, we really did change the world. Yeah, you really did change the world. In the summer of '69.
I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you coming down today, and I know we're going to have one more song that Helen's going to talk to you about in just a second, but I just want to thank you again.
Randy,
it's an honor to have you.
So much for
looking forward to having breakfast with you in the morning. We're going to have
truly, you turned me on to a new breakfast place.
we start the new Rex and Randy Breakfast Club tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I bet I know where it's going to be too.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
What would you say?
What would I say?
Yeah.
I would say that this is the most magical spot in North Texas.
All right.
Of course, I'm prejudiced because my little place in Comfort is
I'm
South
sure.
Central Texas.
I'm sure it's beautiful. But you do have a song called What Would You Say? Why don't you tell us about that, and you can take us out of the show with it.
It came out of that batch of songs that I wrote when I was having to do a little body work. And I hadn't told my wife, my sweetie. What would you say if I was here just one more day, baby? Now, what would you say? And what would you do if you knew my time here was through, baby? What would you do? What kind of sky opens only when I say goodbye, baby? Now, what kind of sky? How does it feel? How does it feel How does it feel when you know there ain't nothing real, baby? Now, how do you feel? What kind of time goes by without love in mind, baby? Now, what kind of time? People think there's a place they go when they never really leave. We all got our little heavens now, honey, where we're as safe as we can be. What kind of love takes a grip on the one that it loves, baby? Now, what kind of love? What kind of heart stops beating just because we're apart, baby? Now, what kind of heart? How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel when you know there ain't nothing real, baby? Now, how do you feel? So what would you say if I was here just one more day, baby? Now, what would you say? What would you do if you knew my time here was through, baby? Now, what would you do? Yeah, what would you do? What would you do?
You know, one of the cool things about doing these shows is we can run over and go long if we want to.
Cool.
And Reno's job is to let me know when we've gone too far.
Yeah.
But I told him to go on home, and so we want you to. I want you to do one more song for me. No, he had. You've got one more song that you had down on your list called "Every Time," and I just before we close the show out tonight, if you would, I'd love for you to do that song for us.
I would love to, because it is one of my favorite groove tunes, and it's a song that I co-wrote with Steve Fisher. Have you ever had Steve Fisher?
I have
here?
not had Steve in here.
Steve is
Heard his name.
Special guy. I grabbed this. I basically grabbed this from him as I was walking by a tent at the Kerrville Folk Festival. I heard this groove coming out from the rain. He was hunkered under this tent, and I heard this groove going. Drew me over there, and Steve, what are you doing? And he kind of gave me some of this stuff, you know, and so I grabbed what he had and I took it home with me and did this song called Every Time. I should have seen it coming. Seen it long ago, and how I missed it, Lord, I don't know. I should have seen the writing written on the wall. I should have known old Humpty was getting ready to fall, like he does every time. Yeah, every time. Talking about every time. Say, see those footprints? They look a lot like mine. I guess I've been down this road one too many times. See this old head of mine, it leads me around and around, and never once does it fail to let me down like it does every time. Yeah, every time. Talking about every time. Just like the night comes falling from the sky every time. Talk about every time. I could point a finger, I could point it the other way and say that the fault doesn't lie with me today. I could say I'm doing just the best as I can. Well, it might be true, still I'm an imperfect man, and I will be every time. Yes, every time. Talking about, yeah, every time. So what I'm saying, it's as simple as can be. We'll all fall short looking at eternity. 'Cause deep down in the heart of a man of his love, it still lives, lies the healing power, the power to forgive, and it works every time. Yeah, every time. Talking about every time. Just like the sun comes rising in the sky every time. Talk about every time. Talking about, talking about, talking about, yeah, every time.
Like it. Again, thank you so much for being here, Rex. It's an absolute pleasure.
I am just thrilled to death to be here, you guys.
Well, you'll have to come back, too.
I
Don't be a
will.
stranger.
Good, thank you.
All
I
right.
We've
will.
already talked about the Treadway Hilton. The
That's
virtues of
right.
the Treadway.
That's right. I also want to thank our studio audience tonight who took
Yeah.
time out of their
Yes.
evening to come and listen to you. I want to thank Gene and Barbara Moore, who are our house photographers and videographers. I'd thank Reno, but he's left. But thanks, Reno.
Thanks, Ray.
And Randy, without you, this wouldn't be possible. And you, the listening audience, keep on listening, because
Amen.
definitely without you, this wouldn't be possible. And you're in the music room.